Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, once more. This is our third and final game of the evening here on BTS2, and we're getting started a little bit early. This match was scheduled to start about 15 minutes from now, but both teams were ready to rock and roll, and the admins decided to pull the trigger a little bit earlier than planned. No complaints from me, as we're minimizing downtime, and hey, hashtag efficiency, making Merlini proud. Now, this game is basically consolation. Just seeding on the line, both of these teams have been secured top two in their group of three, which means, well, they'll be moving on to the brackets. This is the last match of the group stages. This is Group D, and where's it? Yeah, 4 groups of 3. Yeah, that's about right. Speed did have the first pick here, and they grabbed the Bat Rider. Mirana Ember Spirit picked up by Vici, and Disruptor will be that second choice here for Speed. Disruptor, great hero against the Ember Spirit, as we talked about in the last game. Glimpse, pretty useful for dealing with that Fire Remnant, and also the ultimate. Silence tends to be the bane of Ember Spirit. Now, Vici are the super heavy favorites in this game, even more so than LGD over Speed, where some rares were lost. I don't even think there's a bet for this matchup, because it's rather one-sided. Let's take a look here. No, there is not a bet. So, no odds for us to retreat to, but I don't know. I guess we learned one thing last game. Do not underestimate the power of Speed Gaming, as they did just upset LGD in a pretty impressive display of execution. They played tight, and it was a rough one. They were down a lane of Rex pretty early on, but they held on. Their Ember Spirit got huge. Their Faceless Void was landing chrono after chrono. No misplays from him, and just got to give a lot of credit to Speed Gaming there. A lot of young players on this team as well, stepping up their game. So we'll see how Vici fare. I'm not sure exactly how the seeding works. The only 2 slots available in the bracket for this tournament are against Tongfu, Wangzhou, and Team DK. So obviously there's a big disparity in skill between those 2 teams, and I'm not sure if the first place team gets to pick or if first place will be up against Tongfu. I have a feeling it will be whoever wins this match will be playing Tongfu, and the loser will be up against DK in the first round. So there is some pretty solid incentive here to actually win this match, even though they've already made it to the brackets. Obviously, DK way stronger than Tongfu, and this is one of those tournaments that has slightly more top-heavy prize pool, but actually not as much as a lot of the other Asian tournaments. There is at least prize money for 5th through 8th. And then 4th and 3rd do have a difference in prize. So, well, everybody's in the money at this point. It's just a matter of how much. Slark will be the 3rd pick here for Speed Gaming. Pretty open-ended draft so far for both sides. Vici with a little bit more versatility, some pushing power with the roster. They do have some setup for these arrows, as we saw in the last game. That Tide got worked pretty hard by the Shackle Arrow duo. And Ember Spirit could either be the position 1 to pair with those 2, or they could put him in the mid-roll. Could also put him in a solo safe lane type position if they want to go aggro try. And here we go. Vici with the 4th pick Tide. That's probably your off-laner. Though, you never know. Could also be the mid-hero, depending on how these last few picks and bans settle down. We have seen Tide mid a time or two, but seems most likely we'll see Ember Spirit mid, Tide in the off-lane. Or solo safe lane if that's what they choose for, and then Vici will do some sort of a try, be it aggro or safe. Speed, they've got their Bat Rider here. He is on Radiant, so he will be slated for the off lane and should have a pretty good time at that. Slark and Disruptor, that's some pretty good kill potential between those 2 heroes. One of the great things about Slark is he does a lot of damage early on and can actually transition pretty well into the late game. He's just so damn elusive and hard to lock down. They will grab a Lion for a little bit of extra crowd control and some burst damage to pair with the Slark. Lion also works pretty well with the Bat Rider. You can burst people down if they do get caught in the lasso. Compliments of that Finger of Death. Give him the finger.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
But I'm having trouble seeing a lot of synergy around this Speed Gaming draft. Bat Rider and Disruptor work pretty well. You can lasso people into the kinetic field static storms. That is one way you can initiate it on Ember Spirit, where maybe you don't catch him right away with the silence, but you grab him with a lasso, and then that makes it easy for the Disruptor to throw down a kinetic field static storm. Then once the lasso expires, you can still secure a kill on the Ember Spirit. So there is some synergy between those 2 heroes. Slark, I know, is a hero that they do just favor. They do run a lot of Slark. They've been running him for quite some while, even casting Speed Gaming a couple months ago. Slark was a hero that they utilized quite a bit. So maybe just a preference thing here more so than a true counter pick or something like that. Pugna will be the 5th pick for Vici here, so they will add some more pushing power to their lineup. And whoa, Lifestealer, the last pick for SpG. Now, this draft for speed, I do not like as much compared to last game. Vici have a lot of pushing power here with the Sylar Pugna and the Fenrir Shadow Shaman. Not as much as LGD did last game, but still plenty to do crippling damage before that 30-minute mark. Now, the big difference is last game Speed had 2 of the best turtlers you can ask for. Well, really 3. They had the Tide Hunter, who eventually got a refresher, Ember Spirit, who really excels at defending high ground, and Faceless Void, who is ideal in those kind of scenarios. He's great at defending high ground and also great at finding solo picks around the map and preventing your opposition from shoving into the base in a 5v5. Some serious space creation that they had in the last lineup. Lifestealer, he might be able to carry in the late game similar to a Void with all of his right-clicking prowess, but he is not so great at defending high ground. That is not one area where this hero shines. And I worry that Speed will not be able to turtle up as well as they did last game, and hence this Lifestealer will not be nearly as impressive as the Void or the Ember Spirit was in the last match. Same kind of goes for the Slark. He is a little bit more of a tempo controller in the early stages. He will come online a little bit earlier. And one of the great things about Slark in the mid game is he can do a lot of damage with very few items. He can rush a Blink Dagger and not have much damage output, but still have plenty of damage to secure kills, and a lot of that comes from the dirty Essence shift as he steals some of that agility. So there is some potential for Speed, kind of in the early mid-game / tail into the laning phase, where they can grab some kills and pick up some momentum, but Vici are no slouches on that front. They have a superior late game, but also really solid team fight. Like, SpG are really all about the single target pickoffs. You know, you can lock one down with the Bat Rider and use Glimpse to lock one down. You've got your Infest Bomb, and Lifestealer can easily lock one hero down whoever he goes for with his open wounds. Lion can lock one down with his Earth Spike unless he, you know, lines up a really massive stun. But a lot of single target here on the side of Speed, and Vici just have a lot better team fight. A lot of AoE damage on the Tide, Ember Spirit, Rasta, Marana, Pugna. All 5 of these heroes have some sort of an AoE ability and just great mid-game team fighting. So I see Vici peaking in the mid-game. I see them peaking in the late game. So what's the timing window for Speed Gaming? What's the timing where their heroes really come online? And that's what I'm having trouble seeing here. The beginning of the mid-game, before Vici really have all their ducks in a row, maybe they can do some guerrilla warfare. If this Bat Rider gets a really early Blink Dagger, maybe Speed can grab some early momentum, start to snowball out of control, and keep Vici down before they ever really hit their stride as a 5-man squad. I think that's going to be their timing. And if that's the case, there's a lot riding on the back of KK this game. And not to single him out too hard, but last match, he did struggle in the offlane quite a bit. To be fair, he was dire last game, and he was playing on the Tide Hunter. That's much more difficult than Radiant Bat Rider. So he should have an easier time here, regardless of how Vici lane this. But, oh boy. First blood, ROTK. Talk about trousers around the ankles. Will they actually be able to bring him down? He did get that first point in Kraken Shell. Pounce does leash. And there's your first blood. They will secure it as JDH clicks him down one more time. So, that will be unfortunate for him, and also his first ward that gets put down gets countered. So a complete disaster for Vici out of the gate. So smart from Speed Gaming.
The battle begins.
Speed have been training hard. They are looking fierce all of a sudden. They were not looking this good last time I had the privilege of casting them. So there will be one observer left for Vici, and will get put down by FY on the high ground here for a little bit of rune control here at the top position. Dire will ward up the top position as well. Sentry comes down just out of range. Oh, how unfortunate for FY. Sort of an odd place for this ward. But Sentry will be unsuccessful. Pole Camp is warded for Vici. Let's introduce some rosters here, though. We've talked a lot about the tempo controlling of this game. See how the Bat Rider does. On the Radiant side, we do have Team Speed Gaming. They are the underdogs here in this match that is just for seeding. Both teams moving on to the next round. JDH on the support line. He did grab the first blood just a few moments ago. ZRD on the position 1 Lifestealer, and ZYP on the support disruptor. Safe lane try for the Radiant side. ZY solo mid on the Slark, and that puts KK in the off lane here on the Bat Rider. Uh-oh, in the mid lane. Rotation onto Super. First point in Flame Guard. Doesn't have it up. He'll get Glimpse back. Double damage rune on ZYP. And the Glimpse actually helping him out a little bit. Oh, that uphill. Not miss. Slark will try and chase him down. Only so much room for Super to find here. Looking for the denies, but the Mud Golems. Talk about wet noodles. Oh, man. He doesn't find the deny. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, ROTK gets picked off. And what is this? Speed Gaming. Holy Toledo, I just went on this long rant about how Speed Gaming will have to hit their mark in the laning phase / early mid game. And already they're off to the races. ROTK ports back down and just gets clicked down right away by the Lifestealer. Oh, boy. Vici off to about as worse a start as you can imagine. Again, RTK, is he going to take another tumble? He gets turned into the fishy. Open wounds, they'll click him down. RTK, what are you doing? Oh, no. He's a 2-second respawn time. He's already died 3 times in 2 minutes. What are you doing, man? Oh, my gosh. This is just not the series for Tidehunter. Both games, the Tide has been on Dire and just gotten completely shut down. And once more, he'll just walk back to the lane. Oh my gosh. I mean, to be fair, Dire offlane is a lot more difficult. And it is hard for Tide, especially at level 1. But, cheese and crackers, he's getting absolutely nothing. Batrider, he is now level 2, so he's finding something. But his offlane not really going particularly well either. ZY dominating the mid, 10-2 against the 8-1 Ember Spirit. Maybe dominating is an overstatement, but does have a decent level advantage after that first gank and is having a pretty good time. Has missed a couple of last hits, which is rather unfortunate, but still looking pretty good. Pugna, the saving grace for Vici. He's actually out farming the Lifestealer, but the kills that Lifestealer's been able to pick up have much made up for it. Same goes for the Slark. So Speed off to a great start. I think Vici still have a decent chance again. This is where Speed really shine. Early laning phase and looking forward for the first 10 minutes or so. But Vici will have their team fight, which will be scary in the next 10 minutes or so. Murano looking for an arrow opening here, FY, on the Radiant Secret Shop side of the tower. And looking for the arrow. Maybe he can find it here. KK finally moves into range. Fenrir looking for the shackles. If he could have found shackles there, I think they could have set up the kill, but just not quite. And oh man, while I'm looking at that potential gank, they'll kill ROTK again. Sorry for missing that one, folks. Thought they were going to find an arrow on KK. No surprise, though. ROTK, now level 2. He does have an anchor smash. At least that's something. It actually does help quite a bit. The damage reduction, if you can get it off, can help keep you alive, even if it's only level 1. So, of course, the damage reduction doesn't scale. So, the level 1 is a pretty big value point on the anchor smash. But at this point, ROTK just needs to stop the feed. And, oh my god, now the Batrider falls. Oh, god. This is disastrous. I'm so sorry, folks. I glanced out for just a second. But it's okay. Of all the games to be whiffing kills, I guess this is the ideal game. No excuses, though. I'm sorry, that is my bad. So, Vici will find their first kill on the Batrider up top. They finally set up that combo. And now I'm paying extra close attention to this bottom lane. I know ROTK can fall at a moment's notice. FY just roaming around on the support Mirana, trying to find arrows at every opportunity. Pretty classic from Vici. KK up top will get initiated on perhaps. Fenrir can't find the shackles. And we'll see a rotation from the Slark perhaps. Nope, he just retreats back. 6 kills in 5 minutes. And it is Speed Gaming with about a 1,500 gold lead, 500 experience. Super. Takes a lot of damage from ZY. Arrow flies through, but hits one of the creeps. And Slark will be A-OK. So I feel like Speed Gaming really have to use this momentum into something positive. They're off to a great start here, but they haven't gotten to the hard part yet. Pugna soon to be level 6, and Fenrir halfway through level 4. So when Rust Awards come out, and we see Sylar getting more scary, that's when towers will start to fall, and team fights will become a reality. Ty getting some levels here. We'll hit level 4. Of course, needs that Ravage to really be a scary force. ZYP. TP's up top. Dire Courier. Uh-oh. Could get picked off here. No, makes it over the tree line. ZY. Haste Rune on. Looking for the opening. Glimpse back onto FY. He'll get stunned up, and that's a dead Mirana. Great pick from ZYP. Does force some TP reactions from Vici. Fire Remnant forward. Super won't connect. But Decrep and Nether Blast will be off the mark. So that's 1-6. Speed Gaming continuing to find kills. Still looking pretty good. Their gold lead holding just about steady. ROTK finally getting some space though. Level 4, ZRD now level 6, Phase Boots and Orb of Venom. ROTK still has to be careful, but he just needs that level 6. You need the Ravage and then Vici can start to group up. Mirana finding some experience now as she holds the mid lane. Rotation from Super up top. They will start chipping at this tower. Pugna about to ding 6. Rasta still a level and a half to go, but they are whittling this tower down just with the Q of Pugna. Sylar. Oh god, KK TP's into the danger zone. Nice Earth Spike does interrupt the shackles. And that probably could have been a kill had Lion not been around the backside. Slark. He keeps thinking about these rotations up top, but not committing for it. I'm hoping Lifestealer does not go for Hand of Midas here. He might try it. He is pulling up a lot of gold, but I think ZRD needs to go some sort of a fighting build. An Armlet, maybe straight into a Basher, straight into Mjolnir. Some sort of damage. Something that'll let him fight in these upcoming skirmishes. Even just drums next would be great. Nice mid-game item there. Help him tank up, do some extra damage. Speed need to take this momentum they have and keep putting the pressure on. Rub some salt in that wound and force some engagements that Vici aren't ready to take. And I think if they go Midas and sit back and farm, could end up being disastrous. We'll give Vici the time they need to find some recovery. Because they do have some Ancient Killers. Vici can always sit back, stack these Ancients, and take them out very easily with this Tide. If Speed give them that kind of room. Tide now halfway to the Ravage. CY does sniff out the Mirana. Hops to the high ground. And FY needs to be a little careful here. Pounce will leash and oh, FY, the misplays. Oh, the misplays. ZY now on a killing spree. Finds ROTK. And does some Dark Pack harass, but will just back out. Oh, man. FY, he was trying to save his leap. Oh, no, he used it. Oh, no, that's unfortunate. Super and JDH going blow for blow. JDH in some trouble. We'll grab a regeneration rune. The Flame Guard ticking him down. Super sipping up the bottle. Can JDH survive? Nope, he does get brought down. Killing spree gold going the way of Super. So he does find a little pick-me-up there. Still 2,000 gold going the way of Speed. ZY level 8. Does have his power treads up. Not going for a Hand of Midas either. Looks like he'll be going for Drum of Endurance. Picks up his Bracer. Bat Rider. How's his farm looking? 700 gold on the Tranquils. Here at the 9-minute mark, yeah, not the best. He didn't have too many stacks to retreat to. Looks like he's got just a double stack here at the Radiant Hard Camp. Tower falls in the top lane. Sylar will finish it off. JDH buying some time as ZY comes in. Pounce will connect. Sylar in big trouble. He will fall. Slark now on a dominating streak, and Fenrir on the run. He is level 5, turns for an Ethershock Chicken, but he'll get glimpsed back. Caught in the kinetic field, and this should be an easy kill for FY. He'll just chop him down. Double kill and a mega kill streak for ZY. 9-2. Speed Gaming holding on to a lot of momentum, and ZRD still our last hit leader here. Putting a lot of pressure onto ROTK. No Ravage available. And this could be a potential kill. Open wounds. Up in 8 seconds. How much does ZRD want to commit to this? TPs could come in. He won't dive the tower. And he does back out. ZRD does commit to the Midas, and they've given him enough room that maybe he can use this Midas to prove dividends before Vici start gaining momentum. It could work out well for Speed, having a little bit of an insurance policy here for the late game.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Given that this Slark has been such a tempo controller, I thought it would be more on this Bat Rider, but it's Slark that's been controlling the tempos here. And maybe this will actually work out after all for ZRD. Only time will tell. But for now, he's got a little extra attack speed. Super initiated upon. He will be able to hop back to the Remnant. ZY takes an arrow, but his buddies are nearby. Bat Rider is now level 6. Lasso online. Ready and willing to use it, but of course has no Blink Dagger or Gap Closer quite yet. Now the team fight for Vici. This is that stride I was thinking about. I was not anticipating Vici conceding 9 deaths before the 10-minute mark. But they will group up as 5. They've already taken out 1 tower, and it's about to be a second. CRD coming in. He will initiate Rage on, and they will go on to Super. Ultimate from ZY popped already. Pounces to the high ground. Speeder on the back foot. Tier 1 tower falls. ZRD. He will get taken down by Super as he hops to the Fire Remnant. Turning into 2 fights here. JDH gets split up. He'll be the second to fall. It's a 2 for nil. Vici grabbing the momentum in this fight. Pressing forward. KK and ZYP will be okay. Compliments of the kinetic field. ROTK has a Ravage but hasn't used it yet. The push isn't done yet. Fenrir close to level 6 but doesn't have it. Still Vici having to push with just the Q of Pugna. And this is where things get scary. And this is also where the Hand of Midas will bite you in the ass. Lifestealer is not in fighting shape. And the Hand of Midas is inhibiting his ability to really contribute in these team fights. Tier 2 tower in the mid, taking heavy damage. And Sylar will be out of mana. Does have Arcane Boots up. Already picked up the mech. So Vici are committing to team fight here. Arcane Boots out on RTK as well. So they could turn around and try and recommit to a push here. They really need level 6 on Rasta, but now that's 3 sets of Arcane Boots, so plenty of sustain across those and the mech. Hasterin in the bottom, FY will keep it safe. May just pick it up here, yep. And I think Vici will just turn up the aggression. Look at that graph. 2,000 gold swing, all that work from speed just completely mitigated from those towers. They still have a decent experience edge, but now that Vici have gained momentum, what'll they do with it? ROTK probably looking for a Blink Dagger coming out next, though he just picked up the Arcane Boot, so still pretty far off the mark. Vici just resetting things here. Super with a double damage rune on, regens up in the well. Gonna completely skip the Bracer as well as the drums, straight into the Battle Fury. Could also just be straight into a crit with that broadsword, hard to say. Arrow flies through, does connect onto KK. Bat Rider now in trouble, takes a gush. Again, RTK with the Ravage, the life drain, almost enough to bring him down, and Bat Rider will fall. Finger of Death onto the Mirana, but again, that's just a support. JDH will pay for it as Searing Chains come in. Pugna destroys the tower, and Super will finish him off. 1 for 2, and tower does go the way of Vici. Slark split pushing up top, and the other 2 of speed split pushing down bottom. Where are they going to go? Vici will TP up top. They want ZY. Sylar will just clear up the creep wave. So it will be a 2 for 1, tower for tower exchange, but it's a tier 1 for tier 2. Vici find the better of the trade. Oops, Slark hiding on the other side of the trees, looking for a potential solo kill onto Sylar. But won't find it. Instead, he will find Fenrir. And Shadow Shaman will take a tumble. Although, Shadow Shaman is now level 6, so wards are online. And that bottom tower fell, so at least Speed did get 2 towers out of it. That will help make a dent in the gold graph here. Both teams on the other side of the trees. Arrow flies over, off the mark. They'll go to initiate on the Super. Static Storm, Kinetic Field comes out. ROTK has a Ravage. He just needs to get off the silence. He gets glimpsed, but oh no, the Rage from ZRD completely mitigates it. And Ember Spirit falls. Disastrous for Vici here in the bottom lane. That's a Ravage expended as well. And now this tower will go down. Radiant get the last hit. And Speed actually regain a little momentum here. Not a huge amount, but enough to put Vici on the back foot for now. Blink Dagger out on the Bat Rider. 14.5 minutes. Not your ideal timing, but acceptable. Mirana in some trouble. Pounce from Slark. Will it leash? Yep, it sure will. And Mirana will fall. Tier 1 tower in the mid, still standing. Speeder in an awkward position here. Fire Remnant forward. Searing Chains would have connected on 2, but the Rage comes out. It's just the line that falls. ROTK in the front lines. And the rest of Speed are in retreat mode. Illusion Rune bottled up. ZY will find a little bit of regeneration as he heads back to safety. Fenrir finds himself a Blink Dagger. So now more initiation. He will blink back to safety just in the nick of time as Slark ready to pounce. I reckon Slark will be looking for a Blink Dagger before too long here as well. Rasta did put his wards down, chip at this tower, and ZY will just clean him up for a little bit of extra farm himself. They could use this as bait. Vici starting to group up down bottom, and we'll see these rotations coming in. ROTK, no Ravage. Obviously, the Rasta wards have been expended. But now the Nether Blast spam from Sylar. Vici continuing to pressure. SpG, they will make a hold. All the ports coming in. It will be a 5-hero rotation. Glimpse back onto Sylar. They'll bring down the Pugna. Now ROTK, the target of choice. Nope, instead they'll go for Super. He gets caught in the lasso. Static Storm. And it's a 2 for 0 for Speed. They make a good hold. And now they will press forward. Could this be another upset? As Speed Gaming make another great hold here at their tier 1 in the bottom lane. Vici have gained some momentum, but Speed right there with a response. ROTK, no Ravage available. We do see some pings coming out. As Speed group up as 5 to move into this tier 2. Still early on, Pugna as well as the Ember Spirit coming up very shortly. TP to the tier 3 from the Pugna as he comes up. And Speed actually won't press forward. Pings aplenty. Slark will get scattered out by the Mirana. Hops forward. Pounce does leash on ROTK, but not the target that he wanted. Ravage will connect as he pops the Shadow Dance. They'll try and bring him down. He does have a TP. Decrep. They'll interrupt it, and that's a dead ZY. Wicked 6 streak ended. 900 gold goes the way of Ember Spirit. And Super. Walking away that much richer.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
So, Vici right there with the response once again. Radiant's Courier was picked off at some point as well. Totally missed that one. These crafts just all over the place.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
But Speed hanging on to a decent lead. It will be a Claymore out next for all Ember Spirit here, so just a Perseverance away from his first Battle Fury.
Radiant's bottom tower has fallen. Dire's
Bottom tier 1 tower falls, and Speed do get a tower trade out of it. They take out the tier 1 in the mid lane. So finding decent trades here. Will be a BKB out on the Slark. No Blink Dagger Rush for ZY, instead going for the Magic Immunity. As the rest of Speed do press forward into the tier 2 mid. Total tower count is only 1 in favor of Vici. It is 4-3, and the disparity are the tier 2s in the mid lane. So Vici they're hanging in there, but they don't really have as much momentum as I would have thought. Speed continuing to put up a good fight. It could also be a case of LGD and Vici just underestimating the power of Speed Gaming, thinking they can win with these cheesy, more push-oriented strats, and Speed been training up, hitting the gym, and surprising us all with their ability to contend with these top teams. ROTK has a Blink Dagger now on the Tidehunter. No Ravage available at this moment, but Blink always big on Watermelon Man. Looks like Vici will meet up for a smoke. All 4 of them hitting the pipe as they wrap around the Roche Pit. Speed Gaming smoked up on the south side of the Roche Pit here, and they will come up to the high ground. ROTK in trouble. Whoa, a huge Stag Storm Kinetic Field. A disaster for Vici Gaming. Shadow Shaman the first to fall. Ember Spirit goes down shortly after. Sylar 4 stabs back, but he will fall. A 3-for-0 buyback for the Ember Spirit, and ROTK still no Ravage for another 10 seconds. The double smoke comes out, and here, double buyback. Now the Pugna back in the party. They need some recovery. Super gets stunned up. It's a dieback for Super. Oh no, this is bad. ROTK, Ravage coming up, but he is getting damn low. Mirana off to the side, will fall. Tidehunter goes down. Sylar can't find the kill onto ZY, and Vici, they're more than crumbling. The dieback for the Ember is huge. Say goodbye to your Battle Fury timing, and this is a tier 2 tower for Speed. Speed is actually doing it here. Back-to-back upsets tonight, boys and girls.
Dire's structures
2 buybacks burned there, and this is where the net worth. Wish we had that little chart we can get on the BTS one in the main studio. Over 5,000 gold, almost 14,000 experience lead for our Radiant side. Look at the level disparity. The Hand of Midas from ZRD proving worth it. The Hand of Midas is always good if you can win the early fights with your Hand of Midas. That's how you know you're just dominating. And it should not be happening. We had that one fight where Vici really capitalized on the Hand of Midas. And after that, Speed just found the better of him. Bout Rider close to a 4 staff. Lifestealer has an armlet and now 3,000 gold to spare. Looks like we're not the only ones having lag on the perfect server. Oh yeah, there we go. Kale. AKA Kale, AKA lag. But whatever this Lifestealer wants will probably be a Basher coming out next. But either way, he is big. Him and Slark top of the net worth charts, and just look at that. That is what's scary right here. You see these two carries, top of the net worth charts, 50% ahead of the position 1 of Vici. And with those buybacks now, that hurts even more. That is scary. These net worths are not looking so hot for the Dire side. Vici and LGD both going for these cheesier pushing strats, and I think there is a degree of just underestimating Speed, thinking that they could just shove into the towers, Speed wouldn't be able to defend, and they could take some easy wins, but Speed really looking strong. Handled themselves well under the pressure. And hopefully, old Bat Rider here can reconnect. KK also having a much better game than last time. Last game he was the off-lane Tide on the Dire, so here off-lane Radiant Bat Rider, a little bit of an easier gig. Hasn't had a huge impact, 0, 2, and 3, but has set up a couple of key kills throughout this game. And now it looks like we will resume. So yeah, I still think on paper the Hand of Midas on Lifestealer was very risky, and if Vici had handled themselves a little better, they could have punished it much more, but in a game like this where you roll the dice and then your team wins some fights, defends the towers, and you have a Midas to farm, oh man, that's the ideal scenario as a Lifestealer. And it is really paying dividends here. Speed Gaming, staying aggressive. Surprise inside the Bat Rider, but nope, they'll just give up. He'll pop out of the Infest. And they will just go back to farming, at least for now. Arrow flies in. Nope. Speed Gaming seem a little indecisive here. I'm not sure exactly what their plan is. Looks like they're afraid of something, but there's no Shadow Blade. I guess they're afraid of a Moonlight Shadow gank, perhaps. So they will put some sentries down. Maybe they were thinking Vici would Moonlight Shadow into the Roche Pit. Far enough behind that they wanted to do some kind of YOLO, we need a recovery, risky play. Possible. I like that the heads-up thinking from Speed. Certainly a possibility. Vici will do a 4-man smoke, rotate through the Dire jungle, using Super as bait up in the top lane. He is pretty close to his Battle Fury now, but this is a really slow Battle Fury timing. A good timing is if you go Treads, Magic Wand Bottle, and Drum of Endurance, and then Battle Fury by 20 minutes. That is like an Ember Spirit that's been farming heroes, getting pretty much free farm, having a pretty good time, snowballing out of control. That same build with a 25-minute Battle Fury, that's pretty damn good. 22 minutes without a Battle Fury and no drums. This is not a great timing. Without the drums, you should be able to get that Battle Fury before 20 minutes pretty easily. And you're getting to see how much Sylar has been shut down this game. Vici will have 5 heroes in the top lane, and they do have all of their big ultimates available, as do Speed, though. And we'll see Speed start to rotate over. Mass Serpent wards come down, but the follow-up isn't really there. Vici playing this one very passive, and the glyph will come out. Ranged heroes will just start chipping at the wards, and they will find a little gold boost here. They'll do about half damage to this tier 2 tower. Not really that much. I mean, yeah, they do a little bit of chip here, but not a hell of a lot. If Slark had a Blink Dagger, they could certainly find some kills on the retreat. But maybe KK, can they do this? Moonlight Shadow is out. Do they have a gem? They do not. They've got some sentries on Disruptor, but that's it. Moonlight Shadow will prove successful, and Vici will make the escape. So, nothing lost. So they do get some decent damage on this tier 2, but Vici just showing us how difficult it is for them at this point. All they can do is throw down wards and then kind of back up and hope that Speed don't initiate. And Speed, we're right there ready to rock and roll, and I think once they grab a gem and Slark gets a blink, that will get a lot more difficult. And speak of the devil, there you go. ZY with the Blink Dagger online. Core on Slark makes for easy pounces, and you just need that gap closer. He definitely could have chased someone down, whether it be the Tide or the Mirana. Could have found a kill there for sure. But here we go. Bat Rider hops forward, finds Fenrir. Kill on the Shadow Shaman to get things started. Dominating streak for the Lifestealer. Double damage rune up on Slark. He's going to hop up to the high ground. Will connect with the pounce, and that'll stop the leap. Oh, FY. Noble effort, but well played by ZY there. Pugna finishes off the top tier 2 tower, but it does not come for free, as Vici lose 2 around the map, and now Speed just moves straight into the Roche Pit. ZY with the double damage rune makes this a lot easier. And Speed Gaming looking damn close to going a double upset back to back here. Looking at the graphs, holding steady with a 7,500 gold lead, 14,000 experience now as it continues to grow. They will secure the first Roche. Vici not even going to try to contest. And yep, Roche will go down. Who's going to grab the Aegis? It should be ZRD here. He did go Sanjin Yasha, a great mid-game item for where they're fighting now. And also just an all-around good item on Lifestealer. SNY is not an item I'm crazy about, but Lifestealer is one of few heroes it really works well on. Movement speed's great on him. The maim chance, albeit shitty, still a little bit useful for the Lifestealer. And of course he needs strength and damage. So just a little bit of everything. Literally uses all the stats. The thing I don't like about Sanjin Yasha is it falls off very quickly. It's a big investment, and that's it. There's no transitioning out of the Sanjin Yasha at this point until you just want to sell it. So, you've seen too many games where Lifestealer picks it up, and then he just farms for 30 minutes and ends up having to sell it because he needs the slot and doesn't really get a lot of use out of it. Where it's really a great item is if you're fighting a lot in the early to mid game, and you can benefit from that quick boost in damage, tankiness, and a little bit of extra movement speed. So this is one such game where I think the Sanjin Yasha is very much so warranted. And probably a Basher will come out next. And then into an Abyssal. JDH with the Blink Dagger, so instant Hex initiation available on both sides, as him and the Shadow Shaman both have Blink Daggers. It is 3 blinks on the Radiant and 2 on the Dire. The Battle Fury is now out for the Ember Spirit, has his Blades of Attack, and will be working towards a crit, I reckon. Even though Speed have a lot of momentum and a sizable lead, they still have not sealed the deal quite yet. They do have some tools to deal with this Ember Spirit, but with the Battle Fury, that's when he'll start to gain momentum, and I think Speed should continue to be the aggressors here and try and find pickoffs and start knocking down these tier 2 towers. Hit point wise, they have been getting chipped at, and ZY will actually move up to the top lane.
Dire's top tower.
It looks like Vici actually won't mount a defense, at least not for now. 3 of their heroes down in the bottom lane. They will pop the glyph. Couple of TPs available. Looking for perhaps a tier 2 for tier 2 exchange, but bottom lane just doesn't have the equilibrium they're looking for. And this tower will fall. So Speed continuing to put the heat on. Remember, Aegis is on the Lifestealer, so Speed can afford to be more aggressive here. Double damage rune up in the top lane, but neither side has vision of it. Courier, what are you bringing out? Oh, just the makings of a Force Staff for Disruptor. And actually has the recipe sitting at home. That's unfortunate. Dire Courier. What courier is this? The Dakebe? I've never seen this guy. He's kind of funny looking.
Is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
FY. He's going for a recovery Midas here? Or no, probably just power treads. Okay. So I thought he had upgraded boots already. It's like, wow. That is risky. So far behind at this point, I don't know you want to go for that recovery Midas.
Has fallen.
Back-to-back outer towers down. Speed Gaming.
Radiant's bottom tower
now over 7,500 gold in their favor, 15,000 experience. Only 1 outer tower remaining for Vici, and it is this tier 2 down in the bottom. It gets pinged out, and they will go for it. Eager to fight with that Aegis. No reason not to. Gem up on the Bat Rider now, so Moonlight Shadow won't be a great escape plan. We talked about the Blink on Lion. ZY now with an Ultimate Orb. Either a Lincoln's or a Scotty coming out from him. A Force Staff on the Disruptor. So many big items. And of course the Aegis on Lifestealer with another 3,500. So much item progression for Speed since this last fight. And Vici, what have they gotten? Sylar has a point booster. Ember Spirit has a crit. And that's about it. A big disparity across the inventories. Now Speed press forward. This tower should fall pretty easily. Again, Vici won't mount a defense. No glyph available. And Speed might even try to go high ground here. Vici are not in a great position to defend. They have quite a few outside of the base. Of course, they do have TP scrolls. So it won't be too silly. Double damage rune on the Ember Spirit. Could turn the tide a little bit, but I like that Speed are going for it. The key here is not to overcommit. Do some chip damage, force some TP reactions out of Vici. Find a kill if you can, but no reason to overcommit. KK down on the side here, looking for the opening. ROTK comes in with a Ravage. Finds ZY. Slark will fall. Can't get his ultimate off before he goes down. But Fenrir caught inside the lasso. Finger of Death. They finish off the Shadow Shaman. Will cost KK his life. It is a 1 for 2. And that's the overcommitment I was talking about. Moving to the high ground, I think, was an okay idea. But your Bat Rider with a gem, they just fed it away. And the huge lead that Speed had gave Vici some much needed momentum. Not worth it for half damage to that tower. Kind of a misplay from Slark. Didn't get off his Shadow Dance. Not kind of, it was. Didn't get off his BKB either. Oh, man. Would have been a completely different fight. If Slark had BKB'd, Shadow Danced, they could have actually turned that around. They had the damage for it, but misplays from Speed. They needed the Slark to sit further back and the Life Stealer to be further forward. Need him to be the target they initiate on so you can proc the Aegis. That will expire now. Just poor positioning from Speed overall. Bat Rider getting very aggressive, and if you look at that, it's like, yeah, you got a lasso off, pulled one out of position, but it was just a Shadow Shaman. They had to drop 2 ultimates to drop a support Shadow Shaman. Not worth. Not worth. Pugna now has an Ag Scepter. So, Vici, let's look at the graph. They do plateau the gold lead, and experience does start to dip back into their favor. So, Speed's still in pretty good shape, but they can only take those kind of tumbles a few more times before Vici are right back in this game. And I mentioned this earlier on. If you give Vici the space, they'll stack the Ancients, they'll farm them up with the Battle Fury on Super, the Anchor Smash on ROTK. They have a lot of farming tools. And ROTK's well on his way to a Refresher, Oblivion Staff, and 1,000 gold to boot. He's not that far away. Basically just a Perseverance and a little bit more recipe gold, and he's there. And Ember Spirit with 2,100 gold. He'll have a Daedalus before too long. Basically just a recipe away as well. So Speed may be tempted to sit back and farm, but I think they need to keep the pressure on. That might not mean pushing into high ground, but that might mean forcing fights somewhere else. Especially with Ravage on cooldown, that's a big window of opportunity. And this might be one of these games where Speed have to take a fight at the tier 3. Maybe they spill, they buy back, and then force the fight once again with the Ravage on cooldown. Basher up on the Life Stealer, though. And now a Scotty up on the Slark. So again, 2 big item additions we didn't see in the last fight. And with that, Speed will group as 5. They smoke in the jungle, waiting for the Basher off the Courier. It'll get delivered, and now they'll rotate forward. So again, I like this play from Speed. They're staying aggressive. They're not giving Vici too much room to farm. Only the little bit of room they need to get their core items. As soon as they're complete, they go hunting straight away. Very smart plays. Eye of Scotty. Great item on the Slark. Gives him a lot of utility. And helps him tank up a bit. Smoke will be revealed. They missed the initiation onto the Mirana. And the jig is up, as they say. Bat Rider. No longer carrying a gem. Is Mirana still hanging on to it? Yep. Hanging on to the stolen gem for now. Surprise inside the Bat Rider. And Speed Gaming will just go up the mid lane. I think they should probably be pushing a side lane here, but to each his own. They will go straight up the mid. Glyph is available for the Dire, so again, the trick here is just not to overcommit. Chip away at the tower, do what little damage you can. Try and bait out an ultimate or an overreaction from Vici. Force back the TPs. And then take a smart fight. There's no reason to dive a tier 3 here. They're not in Hail Mary mode. And Speed Gaming need to be prepared to back out if things go south. Will be a pretty long Roche respawn, 2.5 minutes past the initial timer. So Speed will not be able to retreat right to the Roche pit, but depending on how drawn out this fight is, the winner may be able to secure a Roche after. KK with the surprise inside, still looking for the opening, but oh, they let this Ember just get a little too big now. With a crit and a Battle Fury, he can clear up these creep waves so effectively. I think at this point, Speed almost have to find a pick outside of the base. They just can't break high ground against the Ember Spirit. Unless they find a jump outside of the base, a 4v5 they can do it. But a straight 5v5 is going to be rough. And now VG. They're the ones to move out of the base. 5-man smoke rotation. Looking for a Roche perhaps. Nope, they'll walk right by the pit. Still 90 seconds till Roche comes up. And they're just going to move straight into the Radiant jungle. See some pings come out, and they want it. Can they find him, though? This is the Dire Vision. They see the Slark. They've got a ward down. Fenrir hops forward. Finds him. There's the Ravage from ROTK. Connects on 3. BKB pops. Static Storm comes out. Fenrir takes a lot of damage. First to go down. Now ZRD pokes forward. Moonlight Shadow deployed. Detection may be sparse, but Sylar, he's hexed up. They're going to click him down, and Sylar to fall. Lion gets picked off around the backside. but it's not looking so hot for Vici. Glimpse back onto FY. Can they bring him down? Yeah, they sure can. That's a 1 for 3. Make it a 1 for 4. ZY now finishes off the tide. It's just Super that survives. And now Vici in trouble. No way to interrupt Super. He will be able to TP home. No buybacks expended quite yet, but Vici, they've got him on everyone. So all the buybacks are available here. Even if Speed can just group up and force a couple buybacks, that'll be great news. Speed very close to an upset once again. They've already beaten LGD. If they could beat Vici in back-to-back games, I think they may have just gained a few more fans tonight. Tide and Pugna, both with buyback available, 15 seconds. There is a glyph, so Vici should be able to hold. But remember, no Ravage. Rasta wards are still online. Fenrir gets the sheep off onto KK. Rasta wards come out. They go right onto ZY. Shadow Dance up in about 5 seconds. He pops his BKB now. Glyph has already been burned, and with that, Speed will make the retreat. So more chip damage to the tier 3. ZRD TP's home. KK TP's out as well, but ZYP caught in the Searing Chains. TP out. He gets hexed. He will fall. So Vici do find a recovery kill. No buybacks forced. But end of the day, still pretty unsuccessful. If you count that kill in the team fight, SpG trade a 2 for 4 and get some decent damage on this tier 3. And they also bring out the Rasta wards, which means they won't have them for this Roche fight, and they won't be able to push with those on cooldown. Now Speed, stationed outside the pit. They do want to contest this Roche. Vici can't bring it down too quickly. Fenrir initiates onto ZY. He does have an ultimate available. The rest of Speed coming in, but Lion gets chopped down. Shadow Shaman falls shortly after. Super taking a lot of damage. Can they bring him down? He gets caught in the lasso. Theory, a mutual destruction, but a godlike streak for ZRD. Triple kill coming out, and it's about to be more. He's got an Abyssal, pops it onto Sylar. Life drain. Keeps Sylar alive for now, but ZY just chopping him down. And blow for blow. Sylar, he's holding his own. He'll turn it around. He finishes off ZY, but an ultra kill for the Lifestealer around the backside. And both sides will just get completely cleaned up. ZRD, oh no, Moonlight Shadow's on. He'll walk right into the Ravage. Oh, Jesus. That's a dead Lifestealer. And Vici will get the gem back once again. That Ags Pugna coming in handy right there. The life drain. Knowing his limits. Well played by Sylar, going blow for blow with that Slark. Could be a potential turnaround here for Vici, as Tidehunter did have to buy back for that. But they end that huge streak. Tidehunter with 1,400 gold. Yep, that's a buyback well worth it. And he is well on his way to that refresher that we've been talking about. Speed do stop the Roche, though, which is something. And let's look at the gold graph. Yeah, still holding steady. Speed with a sizable lead. This Lifestealer is just close to critical mass. He's still so big relative to the other heroes. The Slark as well. But Abyssal Blade and another 2,200 to spare. Now, they have Rasta wards available. Roche coming up. KK gets caught by the shackles, but JDH comes in. Fenrir takes the finger of death to the face, and he will fall. Now the Shadow Shaman and Mirana, both of them down. ROTK gets glimpsed back. No Ravage available, but Super will hop to the low ground. It is a 2 for 1. Lifestealer still dead. Rasta wards doing a lot of damage to Roche, but the lack of minus armor makes this difficult. And again, Vici will be repelled. And with Roche softened up, maybe SpG can just jack it. Lion took a lot of damage there from that Nether Ward. Ouch. Well, yep, Speed move right back into the pit. Lifestealers now rejoin the party. Abyssal is online, ready to rock and roll. KK with no lasso, but will take the high ground. Super, Remnant into the pit. Vici will contest. Fiery chains come down, the bolas. Roche getting low, but SpG will not commit for it. They will back out. Ravage is on cooldown, so they do have a pretty big opportunity here. Infest Bomb inside the Slark. And they will find Sylar. Blink forward. Pounce will connect. BKB on. They'll be able to drop Sylar. That's the position 1 of Vici. Instant buyback from the Pugna. Vici will still continue this fight. This is a bloodbath here. ZYP trying to TP home. He'll be successful. KK won't be so lucky. He gets picked off. You got a dead Bat Rider now. And SpG still hanging around the pit, as Vici will commit to this, I think, and try and secure second Roche for themselves. Moonlight Shadow now expired. Buyback from Sylar proving worth it. But I guess it's technically a 1-for-1. I got a little over-eager there.
So
They move back onto Roche. Rasta wards again in the pit. Mirana will get caught outside. The pounce will leash. Roche falling very quickly. He goes down to the Dire. And Aegis will not be stolen. It is picked up by the Ember Spirit. So Vici will find the better of this trade, at least for now. Looking for initiation onto ZYP. They won't find it, but ZRD, now he comes forward. Caught by the Searing Chains, and Rasta, he'll fall as well. Glimpse back onto Sylar. He will get stunned up. Compliments of that Abyssal, and now the Pugna's down. Vici might have an Aegis, but they're on the back foot, trying to make it back to the base. Only 2 left alive. ROTK, nowhere to go. Has a Ravage. Throws it out. Maybe can hope for an a neutral deny. Nope, not happening. Finds a kill on the Lion. But he does fall in the end. A 1-for-4. And Speed Gaming come out ahead once again. Glancing at the graph, continuing to maintain their lead. And with that, ZY goes straight for the base. Glyph is available. Buybacks.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Tide does not have one. It's stuck on cooldown, nor does the Pugna. They're both in the grave for 50 seconds, but Super does have an Aegis. Battle Fury Daedalus. He could maybe make a hold here. Decent harass coming out. Tier 3 tower is fallen. And it looks like Speed will be satisfied with that as they will make the retreat. A bloodbath here in our last game of the day. 39-19 and only 40 minutes of gameplay. Batrider will pick up another gem. Their lost gem, I think, is just a trophy. There are 2 lost gems. Look at this. Cheese and crackers. Can we make it 3? Speed has been very good at buying a gem and then dying shortly after this game. But now Batrider has a BKB. Saw it in that last fight. It is down to 9 seconds. Lifestealer with 3,400 gold. We'll see what he picks up next. It will be the Assault Kuros. And he's got it. ZRD without buyback money now. So Speed may need to be a little bit more careful here. They may just farm for the next minute or 2 to make sure he can get that buyback gold. They may even just want to wait out this Aegis on the Ember Spirit. They will have to wait for quite a while. He's almost about 4 minutes left, but could be worth it. Although 3,500 gold up on him. He'll have a second Battle Fury pretty soon, and I reckon that's what Super's going for. Maybe Speed will just go for it here. Assault Kuros, a huge item on Lifestealer right now. He is still massive. 22k on net worth, 21k on the Slark, and the leading farmers of Vici at about 15 and 12 apiece. Super is definitely scary at this point, though, and starting to show off where Ember Spirit shines in these tiny little corridors. Oh, God. Sorry about that. Mouse scrolled off the screen there for a second. But, yeah, these little corridors here. Easy Sleight of Fist where all that stuff is grouped up. Basher on the Slark, and it looks like they'll go for the double Abyssal. One already up on the Lifestealer, and Slark well on his way to his. 3 minutes left on the Aegis. Playing this defensive. Gem up on the Courier, and a Plate Mail for FY. Looks like that will be an Assault Kuros Mirana. He did go back for a Recovery Midas. Fascinating. I don't see that too often. The Recovery Midas isn't quite as atypical. This game, I think it's particularly risky, but the Assault Kuros is interesting. Still, Vici farming those core items that could get him back into this game. Most notably, the Refresher on ROTK. That's a double Ravage they'll have up in this next fight. And could prove rough for Speed. Hopefully they're ready for it. They've got a Rage, and they have 2 BKBs. So timing will be everything. Maybe ROTK can get the jump on him and make it happen. Only time will tell. Vici is smoked up, 4 of them at least. Mirana not joining the party quite yet. Dire side not smoked, but they are in the Dire, or Radiant side not smoked, but they are in the Dire jungle. They will rotate onto Mirana. Pounce will connect, compliments of the blink, and that's another free kill for the Slark. Too easy for ZY. Vici smoke, noble, but will be unsuccessful as Speed Gaming arc grouped up as 5, headed towards the mid lane, and now Vici caught between a rock and a hard place, way out of position, and a lot of them don't have TPs. Sylar, Fenrir, and ROTK, TP-less. They'll get caught with their pants around the ankles, and Speed Gaming get a free lane of racks. TP scrolls, folks. They win games and they lose games. And this could be an example of a game lost because some simple TP scrolls were not in the inventories. Vici Gaming, what are you doing? Tier 3 tower up top falls as well. Where's the fight? They've got a double Ravage here. They've got an Aegis. Where's the engagement? There's your first one. BKB's popped. ROTK hasn't refreshed yet. He may fall before he does. Refresh doesn't have enough mana for the ult. He gets dropped before he can get it off. KK falls as well, but the damage has been done. 1 for 1. Now Super. Gets initiated upon. FY will fall once again. Roster wards come down. Ward trap onto the Slark. Could be in some trouble here, but goes into the Shadow Dance. Ember Spirit repelled. This will proc his Aegis, I think. Nope, he does make it back. But Vici on the back foot. They proc the Aegis. They lose their ranged racks. Melee rack standing. He will finish off the line as he comes back up, but just too little, too late. Vici. Oh, no. Only seeding on the line here, folks. Again, worth reiterating. But still, Speed Gaming, heavy underdogs. Probably 90-10 or so if there were odds for this game. That would be my guess. Maybe even higher. 95-5, somewhere in that area. This is a huge upset. Hot off their win over LGD. They're going to carry this momentum into the match against Vici. And they are very close to securing a victory here. 20,000 golden experience edge. And look at that. Fresh Abyssal. Easy double kill in the mid lane. Ember Spirit and Pugna completely cleaned up. And Vici have to be moments from a GG here. Buyback status looking grim. There is a Ravage available. Buyback for the Ember. Top lane of Rax fallen. A whiffed glyph. Oh no. They use it too late after the barracks have already gone down. 1 lane left. Speed Gaming are chuckling to themselves right now thinking, alright, we've got 5 minutes to just zerg down this last lane of Rax, and then this game is over, boys. Speed Gaming. I don't know where they came from. Last I saw them a few months ago, they were not looking this strong. They were not communicating, in a state of disarray. And if you told me they'd be doing this right now, I would have told you you're crazy. KK will get caught all by his lonesome here in the bottom lane. Actually pops his BKB. Will survive for now. Fire Remnant forward, but still gets picked off. The rest of his team inbound. And they might be able to find a recovery kill. ZRD comes forward. Fenrir gets obliterated. Static Storm, Kinetic Field. ROTK, glimpse to the side. Finger of Death as well. The tide will fall. So they lose their bat, but they grab a couple in exchange. Now Speed, press forward. Buybacks. None available. For the Dire, that is. 3 available for the Radiant. Bat Rider could actually buy back here. Doesn't have BOTs, though, so can't get back to the fight. Again, no glyph. This will probably be Megas. Tier 3 down. 1 lane of Rax standing between SPG and a 2-game upset victory. Super in big trouble. He falls. That's a mega kill streak for Slark. Sylar, he gets stunned up as well. GG. Well played. Called by Vici Gaming. And Speed, they come out of nowhere. They dive the well. And they are fucking people left and right, slapping them around. My hat gets tipped to you tonight, Speed Gaming. No one thought they would do it. And they come out the victors of Group D here in the V Games Group D group stage. That was redundant. But I'm at a loss for words. I'm blown away. I even thought Vici had the better draft here. I did not see this Slark balling out of control. I also didn't see Speed Gaming picking up 10 kills in the first 10 minutes. Woo! Just ridiculous. So that wraps up our coverage of V Games tonight, guys. That is the end of the group stages. LGD eliminated. At bottom of the group, Vici will be seeded against DK, I do believe, in the first round of the single elim bracket. And Vici will be seeded against Tongfu Wangzhou. Things are getting interesting here in the V Games tournament, and coverage will resume tomorrow night. But thank you for joining us here, guys. That's it for us today on BTS2. I am Zyori, solo casting for today. And, of course, head over to BTS1. We've got some epic games going on right now. The best of 5 between Newbie and DK. David and David are doing some coverage. That's what I'm going to be doing here for the next few hours. I'm not up to date on what the score is, but I'm going to head over that way. Thank you so much for joining us here. If you enjoyed my coverage, you can follow me on Twitter at ZyoriTV, and make sure you follow at Beyond the Summit as well. But as always, be kind to yourselves and be kind to each other. We'll see y'all on another cast.